Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in a game between Complexity's Minigun versus Empire's Happy here on Testbug. Yes, I believe it is Testbug. It is Testbug. There's only 3 spawning locations. We have Minigun spawning as the blue Protoss player here at the 3 o'clock position. Meanwhile, Happy spawning as the dirty yellow Terran here at the 7 o'clock position. So yes, yellow versus blue here on Testbug, and I'm very curious as to what Happy will be opening up with specifically on Testbug. Now, the reason why I'm curious about Testbug in general is that a lot of players have said that this map really favors Terran for its relatively close spawning locations, especially against Protoss. So when using the 1-1-1 opening, using some early Banshee harassment into Marine Tank, you're able to easily get some damage onto the natural expansion here, and then perhaps be able to deal a devastating blow before your opponent is really able to set up anything else. So if Minigun does go for a fast expansion, he may be facing up with a 1-1-1 build. We'll see what Minigun will be trying to go for, as Happy built a supply depot off to the north, interestingly enough, perhaps worried or concerned that there would be a proxy pylon with some proxy gateways. You can see a pylon could have been placed down here with some gateways up here for that all annoying in-base zealot rush that does happen from time to time as an SCV now makes its way in. SCV will be scouting in the correct direction. Meanwhile, this probe took the long way around. He does know exactly where his opponent already is by process of elimination, but he doesn't know what his builds are until he sends in this probe. So always important to scout out and figure out what he's going for. If you guys didn't watch my earlier cast, what you're really looking for is whether or not he's getting a refinery, and then also figuring out whether or not he's going to be going for an additional supply depot, or if you see any other barracks there, even another supply depot being built somewhere. A supply depot being built off over here, and it looks like the assimilator will be coming in for a block. So that is going to be a very, very difficult. Perhaps Minigun knows about this particular build and knows that the 1-1-1 opening is very, very strong here. This is how one way that you avoid it, by getting some Marines down and then trying to destroy the assimilator this way. Unfortunately, the assimilator does have 900 hit points total, so it is the most difficult building to take out amongst the 3 gas blocking buildings. You can see the probe now wandering around over here and now trying to get some damage onto that probe. Once again, the probe, however, being forced to back off as a bunker now being built on the front door. SCV notices that there has not been a nexus just quite yet. Another pylon coming in. So a pretty standard build so far, and it looks as though a Stalker will be warping in, and there's a lot of energy saved up on this Nexus. Minigun also has warped in a second assimilator, but hasn't done anything with it just quite yet. Stevie, the SCV, is going to come over, take a look, see that no gas is being mined, and then scratch his head a little to figure out what exactly Minigun is trying to do in this situation. He may be setting up a Nexus, and yes, he is setting up a Nexus, and Happy doesn't see this. So it's going to be very important for the Stalker to come out now and push back this scouting SCV, as we are now going into a Hellion and a Starport. Interestingly enough, most likely what you're going to see is that Hellion's going to be trained, a tech lab will be added, and then the Starport will eventually take over on that tech lab, as that second refinery is currently in play. This bunker up on the high ground going to be more than enough to deter here. Oh, some damage was dealt to that Stalker as the Hellion now going in for the scout. You can see that tech lab is being added, as I mentioned. There's the liftoff, and we should be having the swap in just a moment, and we should be going into Banshees. Whether or not they will have enough gas to be cloaked will really depend on Happy, and he's going to really have to decide whether or not it's worth it. The Hellion now being forced to try to run around. The Stalker will be able to get off one more hit, but that is about it, as we are now going into Cloak, and the Banshee will be added here in just a moment. Now, the spawning locations here for Happy don't help Happy in this particular situation, as the Starport is not close to this natural expansion. If the locations were swapped, then he would be able to get up onto this high ground here and then try to shoot while denying sight. There is one factory being walled off over here, so a rather interesting place for it. Not quite sure why. as the Marines are now trying to make their way down and will be able to get some damage onto that Stalker. The Stalker is now playing a nice game of chicken there as the Marines jump inside that bunker. Banshees will be out in just a moment. Cloaking field about to be completed, but it's going to do absolutely no good as Minigun already has his robotics facility and will be able to get and spot that cloaked Banshee. You can see that Banshee is already on the move, now getting some damage onto that Stalker. The Stalker gonna trade a Stalker for a Banshee early on, and there is that 1 kill already, so that Banshee already getting 1 very expensive kill, but already took a lot of damage and also revealed himself to his opponent. I'm pretty sure Minigun knew that there was going to be a cloaked Banshee. Now an observer going to make its way off to the north over here. Cloaking field about to be completed. If he can get a sentry, that would make this kill absolutely worthwhile. Is he going to go for the expensive sentry first? No, going to fly around. Where is that other observer? I don't see it just quite yet. Now getting 1 kill on a probe. Second probe kill now already, and now perhaps going to get a third one. Yes. A third kill already in play as that Stalker is in a bit of trouble, taking a lot of damage already. Will it get taken down? And it does get taken down as well. And going after a sentry. So, wow, Minigun with just horrible micro in this situation. Not quite sure what he can do now in the long run. There are 2 Stalkers down over here, but a fresh Banshee now going to come in along the backside here, as now there is also an observer as well. The Banshee is revealed. One observer or 1 probe now down. A second observer may get, or sorry, a second probe may get taken down. No, it doesn't look like it, as the Banshee is able to decloak and run away. We should be seeing a transition perhaps into siege tanks now, but no, it looks like it is going to be a transition into mass marine play, and we are also adding in a Raven. We are taking a look. There's a Hellion in the midfield. We should be getting a Banshee. There should be 2 Banshees in the field. No, only 1 Banshee. The other Banshee was perhaps destroyed by, yes, this Stalker here during the harassment, as double bunkers now being established. Total worker kills 7-0. Overall worker count 41-32 though. So it's still looking very, very good for Minigun, as Happy is not going to really be able to follow up this early pressure. SCVs haven't finished repairing this Banshee. That's always a dangerous proposition, as that Banshee now makes its way out. 1 observer quickly destroyed as the Raven does return home. And now this Banshee looking to get some more probes and be able to perhaps set behind Minigun's economy even further. This is not looking good for Happy though. Happy perhaps just going to get really easily countered, as Happy now tries to run away with this Banshee. Is that 20 hit points going to make a difference? No, it is not, as Vikings are now being added. Perhaps he spotted that Colossus, and now with a nice transition change into Colossi, he may be able to deal with transition into anti-Colossi. He may be able to deal with the Colossus just enough, and perhaps be able to deal even more damage and take the victory. So far, you can see 48 versus 40 total army compositions. The Protoss about even with Happy so far. If you take into consideration the gas army, there are currently no medevacs in play that I see. So these Marines and these Marauders are not going to be able to use stim that freely. A Banshee now simply trying to fly around once more. The observer did catch sight of that Banshee. The Banshee now running along the backside. The Stalkers are getting in position as the Stalkers are there. The observer now going to park itself as this 1 Banshee already down to 0 energy, decloaking itself, and now the Banshee just pretty much can't do anything. It can try to hug along the far side, perhaps do a bit of micro, getting a 1 or perhaps 2 probes over on the gas, but he's really not going to be able to do all too much. Now in the center portion of the field, you can see a Hellion easily destroyed. Colossus now finishing off the rocks over here will be able to activate their own Zelnaga tower, as well as a scanner sweep trying to see what this army of Colossi, Stalkers, and Sentries are currently doing. Happy sitting on 4 Vikings, not quite enough, as the Happy now also able to finish off another probe and perhaps gonna be able to take down the pylon. No, wants to get the heck out of there, knowing that the Stalkers are already coming in. And over here, he's pretty much going to be able to perhaps get 1 or 2 more probe kills. So yes, 2 more easy probe kills, as Happy really utilizing this 1 Banshee, even though it is low on life, and even though his opponent does have observers. I spoke too soon though, as it quickly gets destroyed, and now there are currently 4 Colossus, a lot of sentries, and the Guardian Shields will make a very big difference. Happy now moving out with 5 Vikings. Will it be enough? There is 1 medevac, 2 medevacs in the air. SCVs also coming in as well, as the Vikings getting in some easy attacks onto those Colossus, and now this is going to be very important. There are a lot of SCVs. This is an all-in attempt from Happy. A 24 plus SCVs now trying to push in, and now the Colossi are going to have a very difficult time. No EMP shockwaves though. There is a point defense drone as the Stalkers are trying to finish down the Vikings. The Colossi are backed up into a corner. Vikings are continuing this push, and with this all-in attempt, Minigun is forced to say GG. So nicely done there, Minigun losing to Happy's all-in attempt. There was enough Colossus in order to take them down. Also, the point defense drone, something that I had not accounted for in the matchup, really absorbed a lot of the damage that would have been absorbed by those Vikings, and I think that's really what tipped the scales. If the Stalkers were able to finish off the Vikings, then the Vikings would not be able to finish off the Colossus, and then the Colossus would be able to finish off the Marauders and the Marines, assuming that you have good force fields. Also, no decent Guardian Shields at all. Guardian Shields very effective against Vikings, as Vikings have that double attack. Adding +2 armor against a Vikings attack essentially reduces the damage by 4, a very significant decrease. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 1 in this series. Stay tuned for Game 2.